Hi guys, welcome and welcome back to my channel. If you couldn't tell by the title of today's video, I'm going to be giving you advice, tips, just things I wish I knew before going into middle school. I'm going into 9th grade in August, so I've officially completed middle school. I'm done with it, and there's a lot of things I wish I knew before going into it, and a lot of things that if I could go back and avoid, I totally would. I'm trying to help you guys. I know when I was going into middle school, I used to watch a whole lot of these videos, and I'm not even gonna hold you. Now that I've completed middle school, I'm gonna go ahead and say that a lot of those videos did not help at all. They didn't give me the advice I was looking for, the advice that I actually needed. So I'm here to give you guys things that are actually gonna help you through middle school and not make your middle school experience suck. I'm currently filming on very limited amount of storage. I don't know how long this video is gonna be. I know how long I want it to be, and I know what I want to say, but I don't know if my phone is gonna let me be great and say it. So I have my iPad right here, and I listed like 3 categories of things that I want to discuss, and for the rest of it, I'm just gonna wing it. For my 3 categories, I have setups, like just the overall how middle school is gonna go, how it's gonna be, and then I have academic side of it, and then I have the social side of it, which I feel like are the 3 things that you really need to know in order to succeed in middle school. Also, if you see something keep getting in the way, it's my curtain. And I also just wanted to say that out of all these videos that you're gonna find, I feel like I can give you the most knowledge, because middle school, for some people it's 2 years, for some people it's 3 years, and for me it was 3 years, and I went to 4 different schools for middle school. So my middle school experience is very different from a lot of people's, and I just kind of got a lot of different perspectives of middle school, being that I had a lot of different settings. And I just really quick want to break down the settings to you guys so it kind of makes sense. The first middle school that I went to was a K through 8 school, which means that it's kindergarten through 8th grade in one building, but there was middle school on one side, elementary on one side. So I did 5th and 6th grade, or half of 6th grade, at this one school. And in the state that I was actually in, 6th grade wasn't considered middle school, but it was still on the middle school side, so I got the middle school experience without it necessarily being considered middle school. And then in February of 6th grade, I ended up moving schools. I moved states actually, and I finished 6th grade off at a different school, but as everyone knows, the world kind of like paused for a minute, so I had to finish 6th grade off online. And then for 7th grade, I switched to an online program, which whenever I tell people this, they get confused, because like for the 2020 to 2021 school year, everybody kind of did school online, but for me, my online experience was different, because I went to a school where regardless if we had a pause on the world, it would have been an online school in general. It was just an online academy. And then for 8th grade, I went back in person, but I went to a different school in a different county. So with that being said, I feel like I have a lot of general knowledge on different settings and different experiences with middle school and how it works. So the first category I want to talk to you guys about is setup. Setup is basically just like how middle school is going to go, what to expect, how classes are going to be. So depending on what school you go to, periods might vary, but from the 4 schools that I've been to, I will say that middle school is anywhere between 6 and 7 periods. For 8th grade, I had 7, and for 6th and 7th, I had 6. The reason why my school did 7 periods for 8th grade is so that if we wanted to take a high school course like Spanish, French, I think there was music classes, art classes to take to get high school credits, you could do so. And I don't know if every school offers that, but I know that's why 8th grade had 7 periods for me, and 6th and 7th had 6. Basically what a period is it's a set amount of time, anywhere between like 30 minutes to an hour. Sometimes it can be over an hour. I know in 8th grade for me it was an hour, but in 6th and 7th it was over an hour. Some schools, like school days are very short though, so it can be 30 minutes. It's a set amount of time that you're in a class, and the classes you're going to take are going to vary from school to school, but something that remains the same in all of the United States, and I think all of the world who has set up school systems, is your core 4. So your core 4 are 4 subjects that you're going to have regardless throughout elementary, middle school, high school, and that is math, social studies, English, and science. Now with middle school, you get an advantage from elementary school, as in you get a lot more independence. You get to switch classes depending on what type of school you go to. I know when I was in a 6th grade setting, we switched with our class, as in we had the same people in our class the whole entire day, but we switched teachers. And then with the setting that I was in 8th grade, we switched teachers as well as classmates, so we didn't have the same people in our class every single period. Currently rubbing lotion on my face while while I'm talking to you guys because I just realized how ashy my face is. But the last thing I wanted to talk about was the fact that you're gonna get lockers. And in 6th grade I had lockers, 7th grade I didn't because I did online, and then 8th grade for some reason we had lockers at the school, they just didn't use them. So you're gonna get lockers, and I'm not gonna hold you, they're kind of hard to use in my opinion, but you're gonna get the hang of it. And I think those are the main differences between middle school and elementary school. The next subject I wanted to talk to you guys about was academic, and I don't have too much to say about academics other than one thing that I wish that I knew going into middle school was that, like, it actually does matter. I know it doesn't matter as much as high school, but especially 8th grade, like, you want to be trying your best in 8th grade, and in order to do your best in 8th grade, you need to understand what you learned in 6th and 7th grade. So take it serious. It's not like the most important thing in the world, but at the same time, like, know that what you do in 8th grade is going to affect how your 9th grade is going to go, and how your 9th grade is going to go is going to affect how the rest of your high school is going to go. And then another thing I want to say about academics is if you can take any advanced classes, do that, because it builds high school credit. And if you can go ahead and get an advantage on high school credit, when it comes to like 11th and 12th grade, you'll barely have any classes to take. So yeah, something that I regret is not taking enough high school courses in 8th grade. So if you can do that, definitely do that. My last subject that I was going to talk about that I know a lot of you guys clicked on the video for is the social aspect of middle school. And I'm just going to say, we're going through puberty. You start off middle school at 11 years old, you end it at 14. It's going to be a whole mess. You're going to make mistakes, friendships are going to end, things are going to happen. But I have a couple of things I just want to tell you in order to avoid some of the bad parts of middle school. Obviously, you're still going to get like some downfalls to it, but here are some things that I think you should avoid, and some things that just like advice that I think you should listen to going into middle school. Alright, I'm still rubbing in my oil because I feel like I put too much on my face now, so now my face looks super oily. But the first thing I want to talk about is friendships. So you're gonna lose friends, you're gonna gain friends, and that's because, like I said, you start when you're 11, you end when you're 14 in most cases. So you're gonna grow a lot, especially since that's normally the time that people hit puberty. You're gonna grow a lot, you're gonna get new interests, they're gonna get new interests, and sometimes you guys just are gonna grow apart, and that's okay. And sometimes you might not grow apart, but you realize that the way somebody's moving isn't the way that you want to move, and you gotta if you don't feel like they align with you, you have to just leave them behind. And that's 100% okay. That doesn't make you fake for like leaving a long-term friend behind. That doesn't, it doesn't make them necessarily a bad person. It doesn't make you a bad person. It's just normal and natural, and that's something that's gonna happen like throughout your whole entire life, but especially middle school because you're going through puberty. I'll say, if you want to make friends who have similar interests as you, I would definitely suggest joining a club. That's also something I wish I did more in middle school. I wasn't really in too much in 6th grade. I did do student government, but when I moved, I kind of just and I did soccer, but when I moved, I kind of just stopped doing extracurriculars. And I feel like extracurriculars definitely do help you build friendships, especially if you're doing something like a sport, because chances are you're going to do that from middle school throughout high school, and the people on your team are going to be doing the same thing, so you can have these long-term friendships. And they're I just think extracurricular activities are a really good thing to participate in. I think it's good to have friends outside of your school, whether that be just people from other schools in your county, or people just like people that you met through family members or cousins or something, because it kind of gives you a person who you have around your age group who you can relate to that's not really in your school life, sometimes in your school drama. I have a friend who, like I said, I moved schools 4 times. I started off being friends with her in 5th grade, and I'm still friends with her going into 9th grade, despite the fact that we live in completely different states. And I feel like that helps because we can talk to each other about different things, and I don't really know how to explain it. I think it's just an important thing to have at least one friend that doesn't go to your school. Like I said, middle school is the time that you hit puberty, and with puberty comes hormones, okay? And that's natural. I feel like people try to make hormones this nasty thing, and hormones are natural. Every single person on planet Earth has it. With that being said, despite the urges that you might have, I want to say try to avoid doing anything I don't really want to say adultish, but just doing anything really intimate, especially in middle school, and I'm about to tell you why. In middle school, you're growing and you're actually really changing a lot more than you think you are. When you enter middle school and you exit, it's a very big age gap. Despite it only being 3 years, you're maturing a whole lot and you're trying to figure out who you are. You're trying to learn yourself, and adding somebody into your life in that type of intimate aspect really soon can, I think, affect your growth as a person and kind of just affect the way you view yourself. Not just the mental aspect of it, I feel like the social aspect of it. When you do something like that, it never ends up good in any situation. I'm not gonna say any situation. I think there's people who've probably done stuff and it hasn't ended up like the worst situation, but 9 times out of 10 it's not gonna be a smooth ride for you if you decide to partake in any types of activities like that in middle school, because like I said, we're going through a lot of different things, and when you do something like that, people like to talk about it because it's like, wow, a whole new subject that we haven't explored yet. And especially if you're someone who partakes in it, maybe the other person might like feel hyped up about it and they'll start telling other people about it, and then the news will just get around, and obviously most people don't want that, so you might want to avoid it, because if you do something like that, it's inevitable for it to get out and for other people to start talking about it. Especially when it comes to like doing things online, I want to say, if you really feel the need to do something like that, like by all means, I really can't stop you, but when it comes to online, like I'm being so serious. If you're gonna do something in person versus online, do it in person, don't do it online, because stuff online, like, it sticks regardless. Something you do in life, it's gonna stick with you regardless, but online has such a more like imprinted, how do you explain it, like it sticks with you harder because it was online and because more people can access it easier. Especially in 8th grade, I've seen a lot of people send things and then things get leaked. Like the amount of people who got their stuff leaked in 8th grade or got like videos or pictures, like it was crazy. Like you wouldn't expect for that to happen. Or maybe, I feel like right now, like in my shoes, it makes sense for something like that to happen, but as a 6th grader, you might not expect for something like that to happen, and it's gonna happen. Like if you send something like that, especially on Snapchat, people think because that stuff disappears, like people aren't gonna get access to it. You can screenshot stuff without people seeing it. Like people think that because Snapchat has all those features, that's not gonna happen. Like 9 times out of 10, whenever somebody gets something leaked, it's always gonna be on Snapchat. Yeah, that's my main takeaway from like this subject, is avoid doing that as much as possible. Understand that having those types of feelings are natural, and it's 100% okay to have those types of feelings. But if you're gonna do something, absolutely do not film it, do not take pictures of it. Like just avoid that, because pictures are like evidence of it. So someone can go around saying that you did something, but if they don't have pictures and proof of it, like it's really just words. If you send something to somebody, that's out of your control. What they do with that's out of your control after you send it. So just avoid sending, avoid taking pictures, avoid taking videos of things like. And then when it comes to dating, this is the thing where whenever I watch videos like this, I'm like, what are you talking about? People are always talking about some avoid dating. I feel like, me personally, that wasn't my thing throughout middle school. I feel like it's not a big deal though. Like if you date in middle school, it's not a big deal because you're learning what you like, and like 9 times out of 10 dating in middle school is harmless. Like I know people have situations where they get pregnant and stuff, and like it just goes, like people sometimes take it really seriously, but 9 times out of 10 most people don't take it seriously. Most of the time it's just corny. And you forgot one thing. I think this could go in the academic aspect of school, but I'm just gonna put it in the social aspect because I feel like it's a little bit more social. When it comes to your teachers, like you don't have to be best friends with your teachers. Obviously there's like a line between teacher and student relationships, but like be respectful to them, show them respect, because it will go both ways most of the times. Like sometimes they're just really rude teachers and you can't do anything about it. Most of the time, if you show a teacher respect, you're gonna get good things in return. I remember in 8th grade there was this kid who would sit there and cuss out teachers, and then at the end of the school year he was wondering why teachers won't let him retake mess. Like most of the school year, cuss them out, be mad disrespectful, and think that they're gonna give you something in return, and then he's sitting here wondering like, why are other people getting these opportunities and he's not? Because you were disrespectful. Like you don't have to necessarily love your teacher, even if your teacher's rude. Just like, you feel me, show them some type of respect, have some type of understanding. to where they're coming from, because it will go a long way for you. That being said, this is the end of the video. If I had missed anything, or there was something that you wanted me to talk about, or if you had a question about something, just leave it down in the comments. I will answer it like 100%. If you like this video, I'm gonna have more school content coming out soon. I want to vlog a lot of my high school experience. So if you like vlogs, if you like sit down talking videos like this, I would, you know, suggest that you subscribe to me. And with that being said, I'll see you guys later.